Uju baby, my beautiful princess. Oh, my sweet baby. Obiageli sang to Uju as she swings the baby, singing her beautiful lullaby with her sonorous voice. Uju finally slept. Ah, thank goodness she's asleep, as Obiageli carefully lay Uju on the bed to continue the rest of her sleep. Obiageli has taken good care of Uju since the passing away of Uju's mother, who had given birth to Uju and died after delivery. Obiageli had been the closest sister to Uju's mother. She took up the responsibility of taking care of Uju from birth. Since Obiageli took up the responsibility of Uju, she moved to the city. Everyone thought that Obiageli was the biological mother of Uju. And of course, no one would doubt that, because the way she keenly cared for Uju was beyond human comprehension. Obiageli was only 22 years when she started playing the role of a mother. She enjoyed every bit of her time with the baby. Obiageli paid no attention to any other thing apart from baby Uju and providing for her. As the years went by and Uju became a teenager, it finally dawned on Obiageli how she had spent 13 years of her life without a man in her life. Then, the urge to have a man and a lover by her side started burning like white flames in the heart of Obiageli. Nevertheless, many of the men found Obiageli unattractive, as they thought her to be a single mother, as Uju would follow her to virtually all the places she went to. Obiageli finally got noticed by Arinze. At first, Arinze was fond of Obiageli, but the moment Arinze introduced Obiageli to his circle of friends, they laughed at him to scorn. How can you, a young man that has never been married, settle for a single mother? His friends said with stern and mocking look. Arinze shoved the words of his friends at first, but as the days went by, the words started getting to him, and he finally gave heed to his friends' advice. Obiageli, I am sorry. I can't continue with this relationship, he said with a cracked tone. But Arinze, I thought we were good. Obiageli got to later find out that it was because she was a single mother. That is why Arinze ended things with her. That is his loss, not mine, she said to herself, being hopeful that she would find someone that would one day love her regardless. Obiageli had 3 failed relationships after Arinze, all because of same reason of being a single mother. However, Obiageli gave up on finding true love and focused all her attention on Uju, her beloved daughter. Uju was a well-mannered girl and held Obiageli dear to her heart, as she only knew her to be her loving, caring mother who had sacrificed so much for her. After Uju finished her high school, Obiageli sent her to the university. She was very proud to see Uju grow up to be a very beautiful and intelligent young lady. However, when Uju left for the university, the vacuum in Obiageli's heart was so wide because she had filled her heart with the love and presence of Uju. That was the period Obiageli met Mustapha. They started a relationship which was smooth. Obiageli was pleased to have someone that cared for her so deeply, even at her age. Mustapha proposed to Obiageli. At first, Obiageli was filled with joy and informed Uju that she was getting married, only for her to find out that she was going to be Mustapha's third wife as he had two other existing wives. On finding out, she confronted Mustapha. "Why will you propose to me when you know you are already married?" she said with tears in her eyes. "Oh, really? You thought I was single?" "No, I am not. Not at my age. I only pitied you since you were a single mother and no man was willing to marry you. Since you have a daughter." Arinze: "Thanks, but no thanks. Really, I am not a pity project." She fired at Arinze and dashed out of Arinze's presence. In the weeks following, the words of Mustapha echoed in Obiageli's head. Pain, anger, bitterness filled her heart. What wrong have I done? Raising and nurturing a baby single-handedly. All I get is scorn and rejection, she whispered to herself. Uju came back from school on holiday and Obiageli was happy to have her back. They cooked together and went to market together. But Uju kept wondering why her mother was not talking about her wedding preparation again. Because she had called her while she was in school, informing her that she was getting married. And Uju came home excited to start planning for her mom's wedding. But then again, Uju was afraid to confront her mother. One day, she summoned courage. "Mommy, what happened? You told me that you will be getting married soon when I was away from school. But ever since I came, you have not mentioned anything of such." My dear Uju, the marriage did not work out as I found that he was not the right person for me. Obiageli did not go in details as to why the relationship between herself and Mustapha did not work. In no time, Uju went back to school. After Uju graduated from the university, she came back home to Obiageli, which gladdened Obiageli's heart. Soon, many men began to show interest in Uju because she was beautiful and smart too. But anyone that showed interest in Uju, Obiageli would have something bad to say about the person. "He is not a graduate like you. He is not tall. You will have short children. He is too rich. He will marry more women after you." These were some of the reasons Obiageli gave to Uju concerning the men that showed interest in Uju. Uju finally met a young man named Dayo, who was a graduate like herself and was doing well too. Dayo was tall and a very polite young man. When Uju introduced him to Obiageli, it was difficult for her to reject Dayo, as Dayo ticked all the boxes Obiageli initially complained about the other men. So, Obiageli knew that it would be a tough one to discredit Dayo. Uju and Dayo's relationship blossomed and their love knew no bound. When Obiageli suddenly realized that Dayo was from another tribe. One day, she called Uju into her room. "Uju, my daughter, you can't continue your relationship with Dayo," she said. "But why, mother?" Uju questioned her mother, looking into Obiageli's eyes to see if she could find a reason. "Dayo is from another tribe," Obiageli said with so much range in her voice. "But mother, since when has tribe got to do with love and building a happy marriage?" Uju retorted. "Oh, Uju, I know better than you do. I have seen people from there treat their wives badly and end up marrying another woman," Obiageli said. "But mother, You know Dayo is a kind man and treats me right, Uju said, her voice wavering. After a month of talking and convincing, Uju gradually stopped talking to Dayo and stopped seeing him. She finally broke up with Dayo. Obiageli was happy to have Uju fully back to herself, as Uju was no longer torn between her and Dayo. Obiageli was happy that her plan finally worked. However, it only took 6 months after Uju broke up with Dayo to find another man who was crazily in love with her, Maduka. Maduka was from her tribe as well, and that definitely ticked the box for Uju. Uju was very convinced that she had found her husband and she was excited, and she secretly met with Maduka to be sure that Maduka was who she perceived him to be before introducing him to Obiageli. Uju and Maduka secretly courted for 3 months without the knowledge of Obiageli. One day, as they went on one of their dates, Maduka said, "Uju, my love, give me the honor of doing life with you and becoming your husband. Uju, will you marry me?" Uju excitedly accepted the proposal, and then she knew that it was time to let her mother know about the new man in her life. Uju got home, unsure of what Obiageli's reaction would be. She told Obiageli about her marriage proposal. "Mother, he is from our tribe. He is a graduate. He is tall and very handsome man." "Wow, my daughter, that is very good. But you did not tell me all this while that you have a new suitor," Obiageli said. "Mother, I did not just want to bring just any man again until I am sure it is the right person that ticks all your boxes. I am sorry for keeping it a secret," Uju told Obiageli as she hugged Uju and congratulated her. "Mother, he is going to come and see you tomorrow." "Oh, that will be great," Obiageli affirmed. Maduka met with Obiageli and was pleased by the reception of Obiageli. "Wow, your mother is a very kind person. You are indeed blessed," Maduka told Uju. "You can say that again," Uju added. The wedding preparation started proper, and both Uju and Obiageli were busy with wedding preparation shopping for Uju's wedding. As the days went by and the date for Uju's wedding was drawing closer, Obiageli became sad. "The child I sacrificed my whole life, my time, and happiness is leaving me to go get married, while all the men that were interested in me dumped me because of her. No, it is not possible. I will not let that happen," Obiageli thought to herself. She thought of ways she could stop the forthcoming wedding from taking place, but none seemed to make sense. Then she stood up one day with anger and rage in her face, said, "I know what to do." On the morning of Uju's wedding, while everyone was still asleep, she snuck into Uju's room, went close to where Uju hung her wedding gown before going to bed. Obiageli, filled with anger, poured a pot of stew on the wedding dress and quietly left the room. When it was daybreak, Uju woke up to a very rude shock of her beautiful wedding dress being ruined. She cried, Who must have done this wicked act to me? But it was hard to fish out who must have done that because the house was filled with friends and distant relatives who had slept in the house the day before. She immediately called Maduka, her fiancé, and her husband-to-be to inform him about the incident as she cried uncontrollably. In no distance time, Maduka ordered another dress and sent it to Uju. Obiageli was filled with anger as her plan to stop the wedding had failed woefully. She had no choice but to pretend that she was happy that Uju got a replacement for the wedding dress. The wedding was a very big one. All the invited guests had enough of food and drinks for the wedding, and the wedding was the talk of the town. Obiageli managed to put a smile on, pretending to everyone that she was happy her daughter was getting married. Uju moved in with her husband Maduka. After her wedding, Obiageli was left alone in the house. Uju would often call Obiageli to check up on her and know how she was doing. But Obiageli was not satisfied. Maduka was a very good husband to Uju. He took care of Uju as though his life was dependent on it. They both shared great and strong bonds. One day, Maduka's mother called him to inform him of how her health was deteriorating. On hearing that, Uju asked Maduka to invite his mother over so as to take care of her properly. Though Maduka had other siblings, but he was grateful that his wife wanted his mother around. Uju's mother-in-law came to the house and Uju was very pleased to have her. Uju took care of her mother-in-law and made sure she was okay. Gradually, her mother-in-law's health bounced back and she became better. However, Uju enjoyed her mother-in-law's company, which her mother-in-law gladly obliged. One day, Uju visited Obiageli as usual to check how she was doing. "Mother, how are you doing?" Uju asked Obiageli. "I am fine, my daughter," Obiageli said. Uju informed Obiageli about her mother-in-law being in her house. While Uju was happily discussing with her, Obiageli was lost in thought. So, this girl cannot even tell me to come and stay with her. Yet, she joyfully brought her mother-in-law to her house. Obiageli thought to herself. She snapped back to reality. While seeing Uju off, Obiageli said, "My daughter, be careful oh. Mother-in-laws are very wicked, so that you won't regret your actions and don't say I did not warn you." Uju did not take Obiageli's words to heart as she continued to be nice to her mother-in-law. One day, Uju visited Obiageli again and Obiageli asked how her mother-in-law was doing. "Mother, she's still around." "Yes," Uju told Obiageli. "So you mean to tell me that for 2 good months, your mother-in-law is around and you are not worried about it? Okay, you better wake up before she turn your husband against you and start dragging your pots in the kitchen. When she becomes a permanent resident in your house, that is when your eyes will be opened," Obiageli said, shouting at Uju. "But mother, she's not like that." "Okay oh, wait until she turns to a permanent resident in your house. That is when you will have sense, Uju." Okay, mother, I have heard you, Uju said as she left Obiageli's house. In the crazy week that was, Uju came back from work and saw Mama Maduka, her mother-in-law, cooking in her kitchen. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Oh, my daughter, I am preparing what we are going to eat for dinner," her mother-in-law responded. "Mama, did I ask you to cook anything for me or my husband?" Uju yelled at her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law was surprised at Uju raising her voice at her, but she quietly went into her room, hoping that Uju had a very bad day at work. But Uju's action towards her mother-in-law did not stop. The seed of hatred Obiageli planted in her germinated massively. She would snap at her mother-in-law, shout at her at every given opportunity. But her mother-in-law did not react but continued to show Uju love. One day, Uju told Maduka, her husband, to send Mama away from the house. "But you told me to invite her in the first place," Maduka said. "I changed my mind. I don't want her here anymore. She has overstayed her welcome," Uju told Maduka, raising her voice at her husband. "Uju, are you talking to me like that, raising your voice, and you're talking about my mother like that?" Maduka fired back at Uju. This was the first time Maduka and Uju was having a fight, and so when the intensity was too much, Mama Maduka packed her load that night and left the house. "Don't worry, my son. I will leave. Don't quarrel with your wife like that." Those were the words of Mama Maduka before traveling that night. "Mama, wait! Don't go! It is late," Maduka begged his mother. But Uju's mother-in-law wanted an end to the couple's fight. She left regardless. Mama Maduka got to the busy street with a heavy load on her hand. As she was about crossing the road, a car from nowhere knocked her off the road. She was rushed to the hospital by passers-by. The news of Mama's accident reached Maduka. He rushed to the hospital and saw his mother in an unconscious state. Maduka rushed back home. On seeing Uju, he screamed, "Get out of my house! Get your things out of my house, you wicked woman! I don't want to ever set my eyes on you." Uju was reluctant at first, but seeing the anger in Maduka's eyes, she packed her belongings and left the house. Uju moved her things back to Obiageli's house. At first, Obiageli, her mother, was nice to her and welcomed her. But as the days went by, Obiageli became mean to her. Obiageli would cook and not remain anything for Uju to eat, and would stop Uju from using her pot to cook anything. One day, Uju confronted her. "Mother, why are you being mean to me? First of all, you advised me to get rid of my mother-in-law by all means. Now that things went south, you are treating me like trash." "Oh yes. What now? You want me to be rejoicing with you while you stay happy and peacefully married, Uju? No, that won't happen. Uju, I sacrificed my happiness for you. No man wanted to marry me because of you. They all thought I was a mother, and a single mother," Obiageli said with so much anger in her voice. "But mother, don't call me mother," Obiageli interrupted Uju immediately. Uju quietly went back to the room, crying, her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Why will she do this to me? She has always played the role of a mother. She may not be my biological mother, but she is indeed my mother. Why will she hurt me in this way? I love her. I love my mother. But why will she turn against me? Uju said, crying bitterly in her room. Obiageli continued shouting, I am not done with you. I am just starting. By the time I am through with you, you would know that next time you will not be ungrateful. After all I have done for you, after all the sacrifices I made, Obiageli roared like a lion that has just been released from the wide forest. Maduka was in the hospital for weeks with his mother, and when she finally became conscious, she asked Maduka, where is Uju, your wife? With an unsteady voice. Mother, she is in my past. I sent her away. Maduka told his mother, Maduka, my son, that is not the right thing to do, she said with an unsteady tone. Mama, I can't. It was because of her you left that night. Else you would not have had an accident. Maduka told Mama. But Uju is a good woman. She took care of me when I was sick. Please, my son, give her a second chance, please. Maduka's mother begged Maduka. Maduka was left with no choice but to go look for Uju, as his mother has pleaded on Uju's behalf. Maduka saw Uju in Obiageli's house looking so devastated. Uju, I need you to come back home. Uju was shocked as she thought she had lost her husband completely. Uju's voice cracked with long days of crying. A voice a little above whisper. Uju said, how is Mama? She is awake now. She asked of you, Maduka said. Tears rolled down Uju's eyes uncontrollably, as she knew that she had greatly wronged her mother-in-law. Obiageli, peeping at Uju and Maduka from the door, was pained to have lost the battle as Uju went back to her husband's house. Thank you for listening to this story. Tell me the valuable lessons you've gotten from it. And do not forget to tell me where you are watching from. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting African folk tales. Like and please share this video to your loved ones. Until I come your way again, for now, from me, it is bye.